Hi all, welcome to part 11, module 6 computer networks. So here we will see the TCP congestion control algorithm, right? So when the load offered to any network is more than what it can handle, the congestion builds up. So the situation of congestion is something familiar to you. We already seen different what is congestion and what are all different ways to deal with it. Now, so that is the network layer aspects we already covered. So here we will see how particularly how this transfer layer, particularly if you are using TCP, it will deal with the congestion. So the network layer detects congestion and it will be informing others also. So whenever the intermediate queues grow large at the routers and tries to manage it in its own way, now it is up to the transport layer to receive the congestion feedback from the network layer and slow down the rate of traffic that it is sending into the network. The thing is that even though the network layer can detect and it can inform others and all, it's up to the transport layer. It has to decide the rate at which the data is being communicated to the network layer. So the transport layer should try to get feedback from the network layer regarding the current congestion scenario, and it should deal with it. So it's a together effort. Transport layer and network layer together has to work to deal with the congestion. In the internet, the TCP plays a main role in congestion control. So why it is highlighted? Because we have another protocol UDP we already seen where it is not dealing with the congestion and all. As well as a main role as a reliable transport protocol, it will deal with the congestion control also. To do so, the TCP maintains something called a congestion window. Already we know about the TCP window, the flow control window, and similarly here it uses another window concept called the congestion window. And the final window used by TCP will be minimum of this flow receiver window and congestion window. So that is how it will be using. Whose size is a number of bytes sender may have in the network at any time. So it is something the value is decided based on the current network capacity in like that by looking at the current traffic and all, and the corresponding rate is the window size divided by the round trip time. The rate means per unit time how much data can be sent. So on window only we are going to send, and the time totally taken for the window transmission is round trip time. So during one RTT, say on window is communicated, then during unit time how much data transmitted. That will be window size divided by round trip time. Accordingly, you can determine the rate of TCP, and that is something. It's not we are going to fix rate to be a particular value. From a smaller rate value, we keep on increasing the window, and we will reach a situation where we can transmit data and both the network as well as the receiver is okay with what we are sending. So in that way we will manage the window. So TCP adjusts the size of the window according to something called an additive increase multiplicative decrease rule. We will see what it is. Effect of congestion is something you can visualize like this. So the similar figure we seen before also. As the load increases, here we taken something called the good put. Hope you remember the difference between throughput and good put. Throughput is how many items delivered per unit time, and good put means how many useful item. Because if something is lost and all, if you count that also, that is meaningless, right? So how much good useful information you can deliver, that is the parameter through good put. So as the load increases, we are expecting that the good put is also increasing, right? Because we are getting more utilization of the underlying media, and after some time when we are reaching a maximum good put that we can achieve, we are supposed to say let it be this green line is showing the upper bound, and just before that we thought of continuing without being crossing that upper bound, so just like the blue line. But so that is a desired behavior, but what is going to happen is once we reach this upper bound, without maintaining this blue straight flow, we try to add something more into the network. So that is this peak. Here you can see this extra, right? And that to make cause situation very severe, and that is the point where we can call it as a congestion collapse started. So in the sense it start decreasing the performance completely, because when there is congestion, the data will be discarded, and others will retransit the data, and already it is congestion, and because of the retransit backend and all, the situation will be getting more and more worst, and you will not get anything useful delivered at any end. So that is why the goodwood keeps decreasing like this. So that point is called the congestion collapse. Congestion collapse is due to too many retransmission. So the mainly the retransmission is causing it. Already situation is worse, and by retransition you are making it more complex, and too much wasted transmission capacity because nothing will be delivered to you in a useful way. And such a scenario happened in internet during 1986 October, and the internet faced its first congestion collapse, and that is the point people started thinking about this congestion situation seriously, and they come up with the different solutions for it, because at that point the things entirely gone without control, and every means it's not possible for them to proceed at that point, so everything they were forced to start from the beginning. So that kind of a situation happened in 1986, called the first congestion collapse. And then people studied more into this topic, and they come up with different solutions. Mainly this Van Jacobson is one person. I hope you are familiar with him. Previously timer management, all we've already seen his contribution. So in addition to that, he has many in the TCP congestion control algorithm. We are going to see this. So he and many others set out to understand what is happening and the remedy for the situation. So they come up with something called TCP window management. So that is done in a very detailed way. We will see that, but before that, the minimum thing, like so we already seen the concept of flow control window. The receiver, for the receiver flow control, the receiver will be advertising, right? The receiver sends this window, in the sense it will advertise back with the acknowledgement back in that window field. Hope you remember. So that is already there for the receiver flow control, or to avoid overloading the receiver, right? Now not only the receiver, the network is also something we have to consider. We may think that the receiver is fine, but what about the network, whether the network is capable of taking the data? Now if the network is capable of data, whether the receiver is capable of handling the data, so both you have to consider, right? So the network congestion control is actually this the way in which sender tries to avoid overloading the network. Here the sender tries to avoid overloading the receiver through flow control. The sender is trying to avoid overloading network through congestion control. So in flow control is straightforward, because receiver can just by looking at the buffer, he can say what is the remaining capacity in its reply message. He can advertise that window back to the sender. But network congestion control, what is the capacity of the network, that is something the sender is supposed to infer from the loss indication. So whenever there is loss, and he has to deal with it, right? Whether the loss is due to some severe congestion or less severe congestion, there are different scenarios. So accordingly we will study from the loss, and accordingly we will try to deal with the congestion situation. And as per the inference, we will set something called a congestion window. So that is something. So if you send one window, congestion window of data, we have the hope that the network will not be overloaded. So how this window is managed, we will see. So as we have two concept of window, the flow control window and the congestion window, the actual window of communication done by the sender, because it has to make both the network as well as the receiver happy. So it has to be minimum of both congestion window and receiver window. That will be the sender window. So that is very important. Otherwise, either the flow control issue or the congestion control issue will happen. For example, the TCP will stop sending data if either the congestion or the flow control window is temporarily full. So that is how it is dealing with it. If the receiver is saying that I am capable of handling 64 KB, please send me 64 KB, my buffer is free for 64 KB of data. But the sender knows, or sender infers that the network, that the burst of more than 32 KB clog the network. The network can't handle more than 32 KB. So minimum of the 64 and 32 is 32. So the sender will always send 32 KB. Will be sending maximum 32 KB. It will not send more than that. So this is one case. Now the same situation, receiver is asking the sender to send 64 KB, and the sender understand that now the network will be clogged by sending 128 KB only. So 64 is fine. So the minimum of these two, 64, will be sent by the sender. So just an example. Now about the congestion window only. So the minimum of congestion window and receiver window will be what is the window of the sender. Now how the congestion window will be inferred. The Jacobson solution we will see. So when a connection is established, the sender initialize the congestion window to a very small value. So because initially we don't know what is the network scenario, so you can start with a small value for the congestion window. And typically it is say one segment, but later on people thought of having a bigger value. Say at most 4 segment is the current initial value for the congestion window. At most 4 segment is fine, and any value up to 4 segment. And why it is so and its details and all you can see in RFC 3390 for more details of why this 4, why not 1. And the use of the 4 segment is an increase from an earlier initial value of 1 segment. This is what I told you. Before this updation, initially people were started with 1 segment, but later on they thought of starting with the segments up to 4 segment. And based on experience they come up with the value, say 4 is fine, like that. Sorry. Now the sender sends the initial window, whether it is one segment, 2 segment, 3 or 3 segment, is up most 4 segments. So that the sender will send, and the packets will take a round trip time to be acknowledged. And so after 1 RTT, the first acknowledgement of the first segment will be coming back, followed by the remaining. Sorry. For each segment that is acknowledged before the transmission timer goes off, the sender adds 1 segment worth of byte to the congestion window. So whenever it is getting acknowledgement for a particular segment, for example, if it sends 4 segment in a single window, so with the acknowledgement of with each acknowledgement, the window size will be incremented by 1. So the effect is like if you send 4 segment, 4 acknowledgement you will be getting, right? So after 1 RTT, the one after another 4 acknowledgement will come, and with each one you will increment the congestion window size by 1. So what will happen? The congestion window was initially 4. If so, after 1 RTT, some 4 acknowledgement will receive one after another, and with each of them the congestion window will be increases by 1. So the effect is like now the congestion window is already 4. Now for 4 acknowledgement it is increased by 1. So totally it is 8. It is somewhat doubling. Now in the after that that duration you will be sending that 8 segment together in on congestion window without waiting for the acknowledgement. And after 1 RTT, the first acknowledgement reaches, and following that the remaining acknowledgements for the 8. I am telling about the correct situation where there is no error and loss, the normal situation. And in that situation what it will do is with each such acknowledgement the window will be increased by 1. So already it is 8, and 8 acknowledgement it will be increased by 8. So now it is 16. So you can see some kind of doubling the window. So that is the scenario it's followed. That is for every acknowledged segment that allows 2 more segment to send, because one already it is there and one more with the new acknowledgement, like that. So the congestion window is actually doubling every round trip time. So hope you get an idea about how doubling. And this phase of the algorithm is what we call as a slow start phase. Even though the name is slow start, it may be having the meaning it is starting with a very small value, but the growth is actually exponential. Because if we are starting with some value 2, it will be 4, 8, 16, right? So at every 1 RTT it will be doubling, and after some 10 RTT it may go up to 2 per 10, like that. So it's the exponential growth. If you are starting with some other value, say 1, accordingly then 1, 2, like that it will go anyways. And except comparison to the previous algorithm, so this is the proposal by Jacobson. So before that what people done is they taken that flow control window value and they will be sending that much data as maybe as an initial. So so this is some kind of static approach. We don't want it. So this is a very flexible value, and even though it is doubling, gradually we can understand what is the maximum capacity of the network. We will see the erroneous situation and how it is to be deal with. And the slow start algorithm we can see here. The TCP sender, initially the congestion window was 1 and it is sending 1 segment, right? So 1 segment of data. After 1 RTT its acknowledgement is coming back. So whenever 1 ACK is coming, window size will be increased by 1. So already it is 1, now window size become 2. So 2 segments will be sent, and after 1 RTT time the acknowledgement of the first segment reaches back, followed by the subsequent one, and 2 acknowledgements if they are coming successfully. With every acknowledgement, window will be +1. So the effect is like after 1 RTT it is actually doubling, right? So if 2 of them come one after another, 2 will be added. Now this 4 will be sent together. Actually when it is 3, one more sent. When it is 4, one more sent, like that. But so all these things are happening um, in fraction of second. You are actually getting the feel that initially it is 2, now you are sending 4, right? And when these 4 acknowledgements are coming back, in the next set actually we are sending 8. But that 8 it is incrementing by 1 like that only it is reaching 8. But this incrementation is happening very fast, because the only thing is 1 RTT. 1 RTT is a considerable time for the very first acknowledgement, and following that others will come in a fraction of second. So the effect is like some 8 packets you can send in the next RTT. So that is a way. So exponential growth, and the method used is called slow start phase of the congestion control algorithm, and it is proposed by Jacobson. Now there is another concept called the threshold value of the slow start, so and additive increase. The thing is that if you keep on doubling the congestion window, to what value you will double it, and like 16, but that is not this doubling is not going to be a good thing, because after some time the window will double, in the sense it may suddenly the burst size will increase that way, right? So accordingly it will send the data, and immediately it may go to a congestion situation. So you should not allow this doubling procedure to go beyond some value, or you should have a control over the slow start phase. And for that we have a concept called a threshold. A slow start threshold value will be there, and till we are reaching that slow start threshold value, the congestion window will be doubled. And how this value is fixed, initially it is arbitrary, and of course based on the past behavior and all. But whenever there is some erroneous situation, the threshold will be updated. We will see how that updation is happening in subsequent session. And initially the value is arbitrarily some high, maybe the flow control window, what is the maximum window size of the receiver side accordingly, because you can't go beyond that, right? So you can set the you can go in the sense the receiver should be fast enough to take data from the receiver buffer. So anyways, the threshold, a good value for initializing the threshold, it could be the maximum flow control window of the receiver, so that it will not limit the connection, right? The window is not going to limit the connection. The TCP keeps increasing the congestion window in slow start phase. Increasing, how it is increasing? By doubling, exponentially increasing, until a timeout occurs, or the congestion window exceeds the threshold. So if there is timeout in between, accordingly you have to deal with it, and how the timeout and other erroneous cases were dealt with, we will see in our subsequent session. So if there is no timeout, it will go smoothly until it is reaching the threshold. But once it is reaching the one more case, the receiver window. So all those things you have to consider. You should not exceed the receiver remaining window size or capacity, and you should not it should not double even after the timeout. Whenever there is timeout, that indicates a some of the packet lost, and you have to retransmit, and you have to reduce the flow and all, and also the up to the threshold. So the how long the threshold, the slow start phase will grow. The answer is either till you are getting a timeout, maybe due to a packet loss and all, or you are reaching that slow start threshold, or the receiver window is full. That also can happen, right? So all these criteria you have to maintain while increasing the slow start. So accordingly the slow start algorithm will limit. So whenever the slow start threshold is crossed, the TCP switches to something called so if the situation is something other than timeout and receiver window fill or full case, and you are reaching that slow start threshold, and that is the point you can switch to something called the additive increase. So in this mode, the congestion window is increased by 1 only for the entire round trip time, because previously for a 1 RTT we increased congestion window by doubling it, I mean exponentially. Here for 1 RTT in the sense for 1 window within 1 RTT that many acknowledgement will come, but all together with 1 RTT the window size will be increased by 1 only. But in the previous case, with every acknowledgement, window size is increased by 1, or within 1 RTT, the window size is doubled. So hope you get the difference. So that is how we are proceeding after the congestion, the slow start threshold. Compared to slow start, the linear rate of growth is much slower. So we are in things are in control. And why we are doing with this much complication? It is because we always want to reach an optimal value for the window. The whole idea is for the TCP connection is to spend a lot of time with its congestion window close to the optimal value. So that is the idea, and it should not be small so that the throughput will be low, and it should not be large so that congestion will occur. So it should not lead to congestion, or it should not lead to a bad performance, and you should get an optimal value for the congestion window. So that is why it is going through all these complications. And this is how that additive increase is working. Already we see in the slow start phase, as soon as you are reaching the slow start threshold, you will go to the additive increase phase. But here as an example, the slow, instead of taking the slow start threshold, the say from the beginning itself, if it is moving on to the additive increase phase, how it will look like. So to get a feel of it, but actually it will go to this phase only after reaching the threshold. For example, if the threshold value is some x segments, then after getting acknowledgement for all the x, the congestion window will be incremented by 1. Again, after getting acknowledgement for all these x plus 1, the congestion window will be incremented by one more, that is x plus 2. So like that. So here it taken as an example, a window that is starting from 1. So 1 is being sent after 1 RTT, 1 acknowledgement came back and it is increased by 1. Now 2 acknowledgements are coming back, but per acknowledgement we are not going to increment. Then the effect will be doubling. Instead, for the entire collection, means after 1 RTT we are incrementing it by 1. So like that it is proceeding. So hope the idea is clear. So here also you are sending 4 of them, and after getting acknowledgement of all the 4, or after 1 RTT time, this window size will be incremented just by 1. But in the previous case it will be doubling, it will be 8, right? So that is slow start, and this is additive increase. And the thing is that initially we will start with a small window value, and we will go to that slow start. But once you reach the slow start phase, you will go to the additive increase. So something like this, you can see the graph. We will see in the next part, okay, the further details. Yeah, thanks for watching.